Hey, how's it going? So I love tube amps, like a lot. And one of the things that people ask or don't know about are kind of what your tubes do in your amp. I'm definitely no expert, but I can kind of shed a little bit of light on kind of what things do. Um, this is the back of my amp, and it's got a couple of different tubes in it. These small ones right here, preamp tubes. And what they'll do is usually the first one will be your input gain. Your second one will be what's called your tone stack. And then your third one is what's called a phase inverter, which basically just makes sure that your preamp and your power tubes will be in phase with each other. Then you have power tubes and then rectifier tube. Power tubes really easy. It's power. It's, how many watts you have. Rectifier tube. This is one that a lot of people don't know what it does or what its function is or why it's a tube and sometimes why it's solid state. Two types of rectifiers are tube rectifiers and solid state rectifiers. Tube rectifiers, or what a rectifier's job is, from what I understand, is to take AC out of the wall, turn it into DC, so that way that's what feeds your tubes. Tube rectifiers are less efficient than solid state rectifiers. And what people talk about in SAG is that as you're playing louder and you're pulling current, your tube rectifier does not change that AC into DC as well as a solid state, so you get sag. And what that means is it's a spongy feel, so it's not crazy attack when you hit a note. It kind of squishes just a little bit, and a lot of guys really like that to get kind of that creamier, American amp kind of tone. Really synonymous with a lot of tweed amps to get that. A solid state rectifier, since it is more efficient, you get power right away, and so your attack is a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder edge sounding. I know that some Fender amps in the past have used two rectifier tubes to keep everything clean and to keep a tighter feel instead of a looser, spongier feel. I like both depending on the circuit that they're in. I'm a big Marshall guy, British amp guy. I love the way 70s 50 and 100 watt 4-input Marshalls sound that have a solid state rectifier because they're really bright, tight, and super crunchy. This is more of a 60s style, early 60s style, so it's got a little bit more squish to it. Other British amp that has a rectifier tube, AC30s, and that's a big deal on those too because that makes those tubes really sound really good, and that's where you get that chiminess from an AC30 and then the really great breakup that AC30s have when they're cranked. And like I said, I'm not an expert. This is just what I've learned over the years and what I've heard and playing through tons of amps, playing out live all the time. That's what I like. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And let me know if you have any questions. Like I can look stuff up also to find out more. So thanks. Have a good day.